So Bhumis, and whether Bhumis are bullshit or not. Well, this Lama saying that I can't speak why she said it, if it was a pedagogical point or if she didn't have experience, but I've spoken about the Bhumi model because Bhumis are discussed it's a standard Mahayana teaching, right? It's a Mahayana teaching. And then there are like, how to say, interpretations or elaborate commentaries about Bhumis in Vajrayana. So, but originally in Buddhism it's a Mahayana thing. But even before that, the basic idea of Bhumis comes from ancient India. It's mentioned in Rig Veda. So, like many things, Buddhists just took things from Hindus and kind of gave their own spin on it. But I've spoken with two Vajrayana scholars about Bhumis, asking if there is any Rinpoche, any master they knew who used Bhumis, or if they knew any tradition or lineage that where Bhumis were taught. Immediately I got response from both: no, nobody's using it, nobody knows how it works. And that's exactly what they said. Nobody knows how it works. Nobody knows how it's supposed to, what Bhumis are about. There is one quote in I can't remember if it's my second book, What's Next, or if it's the third book, Buddhas Among Us. It's probably What's Next, that I published in 2018. There is a quote from Garchen Rinpoche. If one of you, if you are on laptop and you can find What's Next and find that chapter at the end of the book where the quotes are, maybe one of you can read it. But I think Garchen Rinpoche's quote where he says that what Bhumis are, they are it's a process in recognition of natural state. So it's like an advancement through these stages, and it's really well said. That's why I put it in the book. But are any of you trying to open that book? Just put your hand up if you are, so I know to wait that quote. Nobody's doing it. Okay. Well, anyway, you can find it. Maybe I'll find it myself for later. But Garchen Rinpoche, in it was maybe 10 sentences long quote that I happened to find it from one of his teachings that he gave in 2017. So he briefly explained what the Bhumi process is, and it's exactly like I've taught Bhumis. It's exactly like that. That's what it is. The process of Bhumi openings or awakening experiences, and then these perfections, Bhumi perfections. With all of those events, Bhumi events, you establish this Dharmakaya nature, which is fresh clarity. So you just become more and more familiar with it. You could also say that Bhumi events are like awakenings within the awakened state. So awakenings within the awakened state, so they are not like basic misconception is that they are an expansion. In a sense, they are an expansion because Bhumis are these Bhumi layers, these energetic layers, go one after each other inside the body and in the aura, but it's not really expansion that we experience through this awakening. It's just dropping away of causes of delusion, causes of selfing. So, based on that, I don't know why any, this Lama who said that Bhumis are bullshit. I don't know why anybody would say that about why a Buddhist teacher would say that about classical Buddhist teachings. Or, that are let's say, have a role in Vajrayana also. But what is certain is that that's a good question how Garchen Rinpoche learned it. Whether his lamas taught that to him or not, or if he kind of picked that up. At one point he said around 2017 that he said that his internal work is done. And it was around the same time that I noticed that he has become a living Buddha. So it's possible that he just spontaneously, intuitively picked it up, what Bhumis are. But other than him speaking of Bhumis, I don't know anybody in Mahayana or Vajrayana who is capable of saying such things. Yeah. And when it comes to Amrita Mandala, it's one of yesterday I was briefly referring to dynamic concentration as a practice that has been lost. Lama John Hogue, who's a dear friend of mine, John is American, and he was a direct student of Dudjom Rinpoche, the first Dudjom Rinpoche. He was Dudjom Rinpoche's translator, and later he was a close student of Chatral Rinpoche, and more recently after Chatral Rinpoche's passing, he's been close to Kandro Kamala Rinpoche. So Lama John has been a Nyingma practitioner for 45 years or something like that. I've interviewed him on Lion-Faced Guru podcast a few years ago, and we've been meaning to do a couple of follow-up episodes, but we just haven't gotten to it. But John said that it was his gut feeling, his intuition that, like I said yesterday, that nowadays if you look at Chokchen practitioners, when the Chokchen Lama teaches, gives practices how to recognize the basic state, one of them is dynamic concentration, shouting of different syllables. Maybe it's hung pet, maybe it's ha, maybe it's ho, maybe it's something else, but shouts. But I have never seen any Lama shout more than maybe 4 times, 4 shouts. So Lama John said that he felt that his intuition was that, also in Nyingma it used to be, because Nyingma is the Tibetan Buddhist school or Vajrayana school that was started by Guru Padmasambhava. Okay? Guru Padmasambhava was an Indian master who traveled to Tibet to teach Tantra and Buddha Dharma to Tibetans, to establish Dharma there. But very little is known. Again, this is the case with many lineages, that even though it is said in Tibetan Buddhism, it's different schools, in Zen Buddhism, they say that the lineage is unbroken. Okay? And that might be right, a fact, or not. Often lineages are broken for 50 years, 100 years, and then somebody shows up and has to revitalize it. But what is a fact about Nyingma and early Chokchen is that nobody knows how they practiced. Nobody knows which techniques they practiced. Nobody knows exactly what they did. So anyway, Lama John said that he suspects that they used to do this rhythmical shouting back in the day. So 13 Bhumis, dynamic concentration, number of other things are something that I am revitalizing as a teacher, and couldn't do it without, absolutely couldn't have done any of it without my beloved gurus. So that's my answer to your question.